Hello everyone, this is Cookies. I've got another turn of skids. Let's go ahead and dive in. We got a couple of messages, and I think I've got one in Discord too that I'm going to read really quick. The one in Discord is from Lunaticman, who's playing Xibalba. So unfortunately you won't be able to see it. Alright, but I do know from some of his messages that this turn he tried to gateway troops into the fort that Mekone's army was on, where he had the dome, and the dome blocked two of the gateways. So that's a lot of stuff that didn't make it into that fort. Okay, so the message then is this turn, the status quo was broken by Mekone. I decided several turns ago I needed to change my approach to deal with his teleporting doomstack. Went over it in my head several times, and no matter what choices I would have to make to get to the last throne, I would have to kill that doomstack. So Operation Bleed Mekone commenced. I started trying to raid him without committing too much armies, which he could jump on while eating Fomoria. Oh, I'm not sure if he realizes that Mekone's not really fighting Fomoria anymore. Although maybe it's worth it for Mekone to go ahead and vulture the rest of Fomoria at this point. So far that plan has worked. Even with all the discounts he has, I know I have kept him from growing in any useful way, unless he is wish farming or something. I have also been aided by the inaction of both Barry and but I've convinced myself that the only logical reason for their inaction is that if they go all out to kill me, I could at least drag one of them with me. I don't know that he could drag with him. It's interesting. I think Wind of Death would be a pretty powerful tool, but I think has got a lot of stuff, and I think he can do a lot of raiding too. Alright. It was already quite close several times, even when they all worked together, so that's why we have this weird four players Mexican standoff. Anyways, I digress, but the idea now is that I'm going to move every mage I have in the area and gateway in the army. I'm in gathering. It's about 200 Aussies and 100 Scorpions, depending on who makes it. I have Alt 8 and Enchantment 8, so hopefully I will be able to paint all the pretty rainbow buffs. I will probably fight them outside of the fort. The walls don't really help me. Finally, I have no idea how the others will respond, but we will see. Alright. Then back to the game. We've got the message from Mekone. A couple guys hit a dome in 200. Not sure which dome he has there, but by the sound of it, this is not something he does often, so probably not overlapping domes. Would rather have had the whole group land, so I'll just regroup and try again later. I swear that this game would already be over if water wasn't the lowest gym income I have. Ah, he wants more Yanzus. I think that's why he wants more water. And maybe for fire resist items and stuff. I wanted it to be the highest, but no. Alright. So we have a whole bunch of fighting, in particular between Xibalba and Berytos and Mekone. So first up, we've got Ghost Riders. I mean, this should obviously succeed. I don't think we need to watch that. In Grey Mercs, got a pack of Draconians jumping on some PD. In Pullmania, these look like long dead horsemen, just like the regular troops. I do not see a thug there. So yeah, he cleans that up. In Dunheim, alright, we do have an Elder Cyclops thug here. Rainbow armor, enchanted spear, Scutata Volturnus. Right, that's some okay stats. It's a cheap item. Can make it for 2. This might be part of maybe some sort of repel thing, because it's length 4 with the giant. He's got the rainbow armor for Reinvig, and then the Scutata for Shocking Grasp. Yeah, I forget some of the mechanics for repel, but I thought you needed like maybe higher attack or something, but that might be for the person trying to attack. But it doesn't matter. It's just 1 PD. He'll be fine. In Scatly Swamps, let's see. We've got, I think, just a Skelly Spam Mage. Killing 1 PD. Alright, so no actual fighting yet, just more PD commanders getting KO'd. Alright, and then Turtle Glade, same thing. Okay. Let's see, Swineland. Alright. I don't think it would take a lot to kill a Skelly Spammer. But he's getting a tremendous amount of value out of these guys. Alright. I think that white mage actually thugged it out though, but doesn't really matter. Let's see. So yeah, we saw Brightlands here. It's another thug. We can take a look at his kit. Another enchanted spear. We got the armor of knights. We got a girdle of might. Let me mute my phone just in case it decides to make noise. All right. And then Yellow Mountains kills a bunch of barbarians. I wonder if this guy's also thugged out. It's like every commander that rolls out. Nope, this guy's diseased. All right. And then in any Umrul, we've got another Elder Cyclops with a spear. Looks like he's also going to be fine. I'm generally shocked that they don't bump into each other more. Alright, so we have the Defense Thug and the Moonblade Thug. We saw them last turn, I think. Alright, in Gray Barrier, this might be the shortest turn. Okay, this guy runs into the army, or pings the army, I guess. So here's all the gear again. Go ahead and see it there. Alright. Yeah, that guy's killed. In Urek Balcor, we've got a large group of Aussies killing 1 PD. In Karnag, okay. Berytos rolling out 30 elite soldiers. In Misty Bog, got Xibalba attacking Berytos. I think 30. I wonder if 20 would be enough to kill a Skelly Spammer. But maybe 30s to like get a few raids in. There's some chance that this guy dies in this extra small squad routes, but okay. Where are we? Yeah, that's here in Caverns. All right. Then in Green Marshes, I think this is going to be a pretty boring turn. All right. Then is storming the fortress at Giant's Rest. Is there anyone inside? I mean, there's a pretty pricey Fire Drake and a few Subalban Scorpions, but not much. Just gonna be Anzu's deleting everything. Again, they've got the fire and chakras, but they've also got the water breath, which does apparently just magic damage, and then they've got the flaming breath. They might delete a lot of the Sinos with friendly fire, which is unfortunate. Alright. So he kills 4 of them. That's not as bad as it could have been. And then let's see. A few. Oh, this one dies. That one had to fight a ghost. Well, he just summoned some long dead. Oh, I wanted to see. Yeah, no gear on this guy. Is it just long dead that defends? No, just bodies him with dust to dust. What a trooper. Okay. Alright, so diving back into here, we got Xibalba raiding the caverns from Berytos. We got a caveman raid that hasn't been dealt with down here, occupying a great silver mine. Okay. So, somewhat chaotic map here. So Mekone does a bunch of raiding, kind of around his cap circle. Xibalba kind of resetting the border here, because they've got this 2 province-wide border between each other. And then they've got this border down here. Like where so I guess it's more of it like an L. But generally speaking, it seems like Xibalba's been pushing Mekone a bit. Except Mekone's got these big armies, one in World's Teeth and the other one moving into Gray Barrier. Otherwise, we have a whole bunch. There are so many Aussies in the area. So I think we might get a very big fight next turn. Because, I mean, technically he has one more turn, but I think we'll get it next turn. Where he's got to defend this throne. And then maybe he can pivot this army. Honestly, because if he kills this, maybe he can actually come down to World's Teeth and try to kill this army. And that could be how he tries to win the game. Alright, let's see this. Ooh, this guy loses a hammer. Alright. So yeah, I think Mekone's in trouble. I guess he's also got Xibalba over here, because Xibalba is killing the last vestiges of Fomoria. He's got Fomoria under siege, he's got Wolf in the Plain under siege. So he's getting more and more land over in this area. So potentially trying to push it. I just watched that and I'm already like, oh, need to look at it again. Alright. And then when it comes to Sitha, we got Berytos trying to raid around. Or I guess not anymore. There wasn't a lot of energy from Berytos this turn, especially put into the raiding game here. So I guess Xibalba will have a choice. He can try to go for this big Berytos army, or he can try to go for this Mekone army if he defeats this. I like the idea of going for the Mekone army, because I'm pretty sure he can fly there in one turn. So he can very quickly put on another game-ending threat, potentially. Now, Berytos could move this Hinnom army up to try and help defend. That is something that could happen. But other than that, I don't think a whole lot has changed in the game state. We can take a look at Ur still has gigantic armies. He's really flanking Resting Heights here, tying down a lot of Mekone troops. Mekone can't move this garrison, because then might just take his throne. He's got a huge garrison here, tying down this Mekone garrison as well. So a lot of Mekone troops can't leave and go help the Eastern Front because they're stuck trying to defend their thrones. So in some ways, is pinning Mekone. Alright, and then... Ooh, Lizard Shaman gets killed. He's just a researcher, though. And then... Yeah, I guess also has to respect the Berytos threat. So he's got large armies here in Nilmeria. And if he's planning to do a rush, like he said a couple of turns ago, Sitha would also be a good target, maybe Barren Crops, and he could organize that from Nilmeria. He's also got a big army here in Uliathum that could potentially just walk there. And maybe this army walks to Resting Heights. So definitely it looks like is setting up for a big throne rush. Xibalba is actually like getting an insane part of portion of the map. It's pretty, I don't know, I thought he would have lost a lot more of it. But let's go ahead and take a look. So yeah, he's down a little bit this turn, but he still has a lot of territory. Is flat. We got a little bit of movement here. For forts, it's mostly Xibalba and For income, it's all the way. Despite all that land, Xibalba is still only half the income of Gem income, it's and Xibalba. Then blood income, it's Xibalba, Berytos, and Mekone just dabbling a little bit, probably for items. For research, we've got Berytos and And is catching up to Berytos. And then for Dominion, we've got and Xibalba. For army size, we've got still increasing. Potentially increasing as fast as Xibalba, almost. And Xibalba grows extremely fast in terms of armies with all the blood summons. So I think is probably doing a lot of summoning themselves. And they seem to be growing just extremely fast, putting together these large Anzu stacks, which I think are going to be the key to how they want to do their throne rush, where they one turn pop forts, and then they fly over the top, and they just breathe on everything and it dies. I think that's a pretty solid strategy, because as we can see from here, they've got storm immunity. Storm immunity is something Xibalba paid for on their bless, so anyone trying to hold up storm to keep out flyers from either Xibalba or is going to have a really tough time. Alright, and I think that's it for this one. Pretty short one, not a lot of action, so I'll go ahead and see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Bye.